I have not done a video like this in a very long time. I have a special guest with me, even though I live with her, so we're like in each other's bubble all the time, clearly. I still haven't done a video with my mother in probably a couple of months, actually. I think the last video we did together was the Torrid Hall. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Where
that was my birthday, so that was August.
Okay, so last August was the last time. Wow, that's a long time. So I wanted to do this video because obviously Mother's Day has passed, but it is still Mother's Day month. That's what I think a lot of people think of May as.
It was only a few days ago, though.
Yeah, but by the time this goes up, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to be by the time this goes up.
Okay.
So I wanted to do this video where I talk to you, ask you a few questions, kind of have like a conversation. Basically, this is a glorified podcast, but I did think it would be fun to sort of, for people to get to know you. Also, you know, Pride is coming up next month, so we're going to be talking about a lot of queer topics. So, I don't really have any particular order that I want to ask you these things in, but I do want to just like try and have a conversation as best as possible. So the first thing though I did want to ask you was, and this kind of made me laugh when I thought about it, like what was it like for you, and like what were your thoughts the many times I have come out? Because it wasn't just the once, obviously.
Correct. That's very true.
So maybe take us back through all of that.
Okay. So you were, I don't know, 16 the first time.
The very first time, yes.
I just wanted you to be happy. I was surprised that you seemed nervous to tell me. That's what kind of shocked me, because we've always had a great relationship and always easy. I would hope that it was easy to talk to. But you had said that you had spoke to somebody else on how to maybe tell me or something.
Boy,
and
I
even
don't remember.
then, you kind of danced around it.
Yeah.
And then I figured it out, and I was like,
yeah.
Okay, well, as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
You know?
I think what it was, like from my perspective, what I remember was that it was never a conversation that was had. It was, mind you, this was the early 2000s. People didn't really talk about queer people all that much, and I don't feel like anyone in our family really talked about gay people all that much as like a thing. Like we watched Will and Grace, but it wasn't something that was like, this is a conversation, like you could be that, or I could be this, or I could be that. Yeah. It wasn't something that we talked about, so I had no idea. I knew, like, logically I knew that you were going to be fine with it because you just, that's who you were, but it was something in my head that I didn't like. I had no idea how anyone was going to react.
No,
and it did scare me.
Yeah,
because I was like, this is like, this is scary. It's, you know, I don't know that anyone, no matter how supportive their family is, no matter how like fortunate they know themselves to be, I don't think anyone has an experience where it's not kind of scary, because it's made to be such this big thing. Yeah. And I think also, if you've ever, you know, anyone who has watched any kind of television about coming out or seen coming out movies or anything like that, I think that kind of hypes it up more too. Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of media that's like, you know, this is what coming out is like for a lot of people. And there's no universal coming out experience.
No. Everyone's going to have their own experience.
So for me, it was kind of like, I was like, oh, I don't know. You know, this could go bad. Okay, so what about when I came out as trans? That was 21 going on 22, that I remember.
Yeah. Again, that was another thing where it was like a different kind of delivery on it, I think. You were saying that it was right around the time that we went to Drink and Drag for your 21st. And you kind of talked a little bit about that in the conversation. And then you said, I remember you said, you know, I still like guys, but I don't want to be one anymore. Yeah. Something like that.
That sounds about right.
Honestly, my reaction, it wasn't bad. It was, the first thing I go to is mama bear mode. And I'm like, I'm a little scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scared that someone's gonna try to hurt you.
Let's also be honest that I'm a little bit, what is the proper way to say this? Neurotic, but also when I get something in my head, I am determined to make it happen.
Yes.
And I will research the shit out of it to an almost annoying degree. And I think in the beginning, especially because at the time I was, younger, I was still on your insurance. I think I had just graduated college, or no. It was my last year of college when I realized it. So I didn't have a job because, I was very, very fortunate and didn't have to have a job until after I graduated college.
Yes.
And so there was just a whole thing where, I was like, oh, well, if I do this, this, and this, your insurance will cover this and blah, 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 blah.
Was like,
and you were like, that's
ahead.
too much. You're going way too far, way too fast. And that's just how I am. I don't know how to.
Ever since she was little, she's always been like that.
Yeah.
But I always appreciated it and stuff.
But I know it can get annoying because I'm not, when people say like, oh, you need like small incremental things to equal one big thing. I'm a one big thing and then I'll work backwards from there, I guess is kind of how I do it.
You did the same thing when you were 12 and decided you were going to be an author.
Yeah.
She was already practicing interviews on Oprah.
Which did not work out for me because she no longer has a show. So
actually, she does.
Well, she's got her own channel, and I know she still does interviews, but now she comes into people's homes.
No, but there's something that she's starting where they're in, like, they look like they're in her backyard or something.
Oh yeah, she does that on Sunday, Super Soul Sunday. She does that.
Oh, that's
because she's done that with a bunch of. She did that with Rue actually, and it was really good.
Oh,
I liked it. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, long story short. I'm someone who gets very, very neurotic, very, very excited. And so I was just like, research. I knew what doctor I wanted to do all of my shit, like...
Yes, she did.
Within weeks.
Yeah.
I was looking at, like, okay, what is the before and after? What are you good at? What are you good... I was, like, researching the shit out of this. When I am determined to do something, you cannot... stop my mind and like how far I will go. And I remember that when I decided to do my name change and my gender marker change and all of that, you were kind of like, I don't know if you can do all that.
Oh yeah, I had no idea. And she's like, I can go to the Social Security office, get this, and I'm like, I don't think that that's possible. I think I thought there was more involved. And she's like, no, I researched it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And she did everything and everything was right. Everything that she said was absolutely correct.
After that, 21, I think I was about 28 when I realized that I was 27. I started to realize I was leaning more towards bi. I don't think I ever came out to you as that. I think I was just that was just my own personal thing. And then by the time I realized,
it was like, I like girls. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
like, okay.
Really, by the time I came out I really didn't even come out the last time. It was just like, oh, by the way,
yeah.
Because at that point it was like, okay, you've been the L, you've been the G, you've been the B, you've been the T. We don't need another coming out story. You've been the LGBLT. You've been it all. So at this point...
Did you say BLT?
Yes, I did. I surely did. On purpose. The LGBLT. That'd be delicious. No, but, at this point, it's like... I've been the whole spectrum.
Yes.
So it just kind of seemed pointless to come out at that point.
Yes.
It was like, okay, here's the memo just so you know, so you're not like... oh, you brought home I don't think you would have blinked.
No.
But it was just one of those things that it was just like, yeah, just by the way, just casually. And, even when I came out as trans, I think it was pretty easy for me. Like most of my friends I didn't have any problem with. I was just like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what I'm doing now.
When I was pregnant,
oh yeah,
they told me when I was 6 months, you go and you have that ultrasound. They were 90.
I would say 99, but yeah,
I think 98. It was 98% sure she was going to be female.
Cis girl.
Ding. which, okay, we were thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
And who would have knew? Who would have thunk? All this time later,
Yeah.
it was always
I mean,
true.
they were right. They were just
They were
off by a
always
few
right.
years. You know what? And the thing of it is, and I've said this before, and I've talked about this with a lot of different people. If I had had the language that kids have now,
Yes.
I would have probably tried to transition at like 6.
Yes.
Because I always had the inclination. I always had a suspicion, if you will. Like, I always knew, but I didn't have the language for it. I didn't hear the word transgender for the first time until I think I was 16.
Yeah.
And I saw that Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Which scarred me for many years to come.
Yeah.
But anyway.
A whole different.
Yeah. But, that was the first time that I really, like, had heard that. I had never heard it before that. It was not something I had any context of. And to me, it's very nice that kids these days are able to know these words and know this language and be able to be, like 10 or 12 or 5 and say, oh, I'm non-binary, I'm bi, I'm gay, I'm whatever. Because that was not something that I had. I had no concept of it. And I do have to wonder, like, would I have taken so long to realize that I was, a lesbian had I had this language about my gender identity sooner?
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have had to come out as gay.
Yeah.
The first time, because I would have just been a straight girl.
But you know what the thing is we weren't, it was just you and I. Mm-hmm. Our household wasn't, you had to be this way.
Yeah.
You had to, she went and had
side of the family.
pedicures with me and, things that they called that it should be officially with just, cis girls and mom.
It was considered very girly. That I used to get pedicures. Some people in the family did have a problem with it. They did have a problem with, just the way that I was just very, very feminine.
Exactly.
From the jump.
But you were always just my child.
Yeah, no.
You were always, but I mean,
I had an easy bake oven. And I loved it.
She did. It was you to just, be happy and be, enjoy your friends and your life and, not everything in a cookie cutter box because there's no such thing.
Yeah. What I was trying to transition into, no pun intended. I love a good transition joke. No, but what I was trying to say was I think this is as good a time as any to talk about, like, one thing I'm curious about is I know we were just saying how I was very, very feminine as a child. I liked girly things. I liked I liked playing in makeup, let's be honest.
Yes.
I loved the easy bake oven. I loved getting pedicures. I preferred dresses. My dream was sort of to, I really, I went to Catholic school, so I really, really, really wanted one of those jumpers, or I think they're called skirtles now, but I think at the time they were called jumpers. Yeah.
Skirtles?
Yeah, like a skirt overall is what I think some people call.
Oh,
yeah, skirt all. I don't know if that has to be made out of I don't know how it works. Anyway, long story short, I was always very, very feminine and all that kind of thing. Do you think there were signs, let's say?
No.
Okay. So there was nothing in your mind that, like, oh yeah, this child is going to be, because, no. Because when I came out to the first time I came out to, my aunt and cousin, and I said, oh, by the way, and they were like, yeah, we knew. Like, duh.
Oh, okay.
And so, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of rude. Like, the way they said it was kind of rude. And at the time I was like, why the fuck didn't you tell me? You could have spared me a lot of time.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things that it's like some people say, oh, I always knew, or I had an inclination.
But that was also when you're a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think of you yet in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't there,
So you weren't.
I think
you weren't one of those creepy parents that does, because okay, no. 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 Oh God, no. That's not what I meant. No, you know those parents who do that thing where like a because I think I remember them doing this to Michael, where it's like a baby looks vaguely at a girl and everyone's like, oh, he's gonna be a lady killer. It's like babies just look at people. Stop projecting your
Oh, yeah.
sexuality onto
Yeah.
these kids.
Yeah.
And people do that. And I remember you saying when I was in kindergarten, because I always had girlfriends, always, 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 from very, very young to now, I've only ever had girlfriends. I've only had a few guy friends in my life. It was just not something,
Correct.
whatever. Anyway, I remember you telling me a story that the way the parents were talking,
They were going to get married.
yeah,
Now we're talking pre-K.
yeah, okay,
And
not even kindergarten,
because
sorry.
you were so like, they looked at it as you were so sensitive
Mhm.
because they had it set up for like a
That's
house.
code for girl.
And they
or
were
gay.
calling it mommy and daddy type of thing.
Yeah.
And you would make such a great husband. And this woman whose daughter just adored you.
Mhm.
And it was like, I'm like, are we picking out, what are they called? Crystal?
China
patterns?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
that's,
lady, you're scaring me.
Yeah.
They're 4.
but that's how people act.
Yeah.
People, and so when you say, like, I didn't think about you in relationships at young age, that's kind of rare, actually. The amount of people.
It's sad because kids should just
Be kids.
Be kids.
Yeah.
Do the things.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a vacuum cleaner.
Oh my
Remember?
God, I loved that
You loved
thing.
it.
It was a Dirt Devil, I
Dirt
think. It
Devil.
was like a Dirt Devil
Just went
play vacuum cleaner.
Mind you, I had to go to like 5 different Toys R Us to find the damn thing. It was out everywhere. But it was just trying to make you happy and have the things that you wanted to have and you to be a kid and play with the toys that you wanted to play with. I didn't think, oh, this is a girl toy, you can't have it, or this is a boy toy, or anything like that.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was on the subject of children. You know, obviously a lot of people that I know personally, but also a lot of people in general, don't have the best coming out experience. They don't have the best parents. Their parents don't react right.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted, you to sort of give like a message to those people.
It's sad and it's a shame that parents have that hard of an opinion. I have coworkers that I work with, and some of them have just told me horrific stories. And it always seems to stem around the parents say it's religion. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. I was brought up in a Catholic home. She went to Catholic school.
Look how that turned out. No, I'm sorry, I couldn't help
But
myself.
I always knew that there was nothing that was going to determine how I viewed your life, my life. That everything, again, with the cookie cutter adage again that I have to bring up, because everyone's home and situation is different. But the one thing I have always told you, there is nothing that you could do that would ever make me hate you, be disappointed in you. I mean, how funny is it when she's like 15 and 16, I'm like, aren't you supposed to hate me at this age? This is what I hear that happens. Why do you like me?
Yeah.
But it was
we never really had that
our
like butting
relationship.
of heads. Sorry.
That's okay. Just our relationship, and you can't rule your household hiding behind a religion. To me, I look at, I am so incredibly grateful that I was able to have a child. Some people can't even have children.
Yeah.
And all I ever wanted was it for not to be hard, especially because you were so young when I divorced your dad.
Yeah.
I wanted you to have everything that you could possibly have the love of 2 parents, everything that you're raised to believe in, but still, it was always going to be different because my mom passed away when I was so young. So I knew how you could still function in a 1-parent household. And I'm getting a little bit off track. But what I would say, and I'm sorry, what I would say is it's sad. If that's the way that your parents truly feel, I unfortunately think it's kind of a cop out, because you have to feel how you feel, not what the religion says you feel. You have to, is this your out, that you just don't like your child and you're just like waiting for them to do something for you to say, I'm disgusted with you, get out? I mean, some of the things that I heard were just so vile. It's like, how could you say this to someone that you participated, whether participated, the woman obviously, you know, is the one that bears the child, but even if it's the father who's having the bad reaction, sometimes it's not both parents. Sometimes it's one or the other. You have to know that as parents, it's your path to go on. So if a parent would say, you know, you're not going to get into heaven and be with me. Trust me, you don't want to be with your parent anymore. You're like, that's okay. You want to be able to say, you know, that's okay, you know? And a lot of kids or even adults love their parents so much and so devastated that they instantly don't know how to respond. And, you know, you're talking about how it's almost pride and stuff. And last year, I just had the most incredible time. We went to our first Pride Parade, and I just had such an amazing time. I met amazing people, and, you know, I had my favorite shirt, free mom hugs. I wanted the shirt ever since I ever saw it. I bought it, and people came up to me because it was way before COVID. And they said, oh, I want a hug. I want a hug. And I'm tearing up and saying, of course, you know, you need a mom? I'll be your mom. Your parents don't accept you? Talk to me. You know, and I'll talk to your parents.
I will fight your parents. I think that's where I get my very maternal instinct. We all know, maybe, I don't know if I've ever talked about this in my YouTube channel, I am not someone who likes children. That being said, no, I don't. I'm not shy about it. That said, I am someone who has that mothering instinct because of you. And so I'm that sort of person that when people have problems with their family or have problems with just anyone, of them not, you know, respecting them or not appreciating them, I'm like, okay, we're going to battle then. 'Cause like, this is not acceptable. And, you know, I've had friends who weren't any flavor of queer who still had not great relationships with their parents.
Yes, it's not always something to do with sexuality. It's just going through that part of your phase of your life, you know, going through teenage to young adult to adult. And, you know, mom and dad say, it's time for you to fly the coop. Flew the coop.
Flew the coop, One flew over the cuckoo's nest. It's sad because, you know, obviously I'm always very grateful to how you reacted, and I'm very grateful that we have the relationship that we do. But I do kind of like, it's unfortunate because it's like, you know, you have said this before, I cannot fathom a person who, you know, you raise that child for however long you raise them, and you presumably love them for that whole time.
Yes.
And then this one thing you just cannot get over.
Can't get past.
As if
I agree.
Somehow that negates all the other times.
Exactly.
And that it's still to this day, not even just like something that happened in the, you know, 90s and 2000s and 80s and all of that, that to this day, with as much, you know, queer acceptance as we have, which is with as much, you know, visibility and knowledge and all this other stuff that we have, that it is still an issue that I can go on TikTok right this minute and find a video of someone just coming out as pan. And see their parent like scream and lose their fucking mind.
On a TikTok?
On a TikTok. They record it without their parents seeing it, and it's devastating. Or they're like sobbing, explaining how they just got kicked out of their home. And, I just saw a girl who was, sobbing because she came out to her family and now she's living in her car. And there's nothing I can do for these people, but it's devastating to see.
Here's what kills me is when somebody comes out, whether any life choice that they make.
I don't know about life choice.
What did I say wrong?
Life choice?
Choice in their life is what I mean.
When they come out, yes.
But I'm not just talking about coming out.
Okay,
I'm just talking about anything in general.
Sorry. I was like, life choice? I don't know. That's problematic phrasing, but go ahead.
No. I'm talking about
your lifestyle choice.
Well, there's parents that don't even like the boyfriend or girlfriend or anybody that...
Racist parents.
Yes. Don't even get me started there. My point is, they are still the same person that they were yesterday when you had no clue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? She didn't just emerge and this monster from Alien comes out of her body and says, look at me. Even if you did, I'd be all, I love you even as an alien. And your 3 eyes and 4 arms. It's okay.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't understand, like, I mean, I guess, again, because I had the experience that I had. Now, mind you, I did not expect Old Man to be accepting. And maybe that's because he was in a position where he really didn't have a choice.
Do you want to go to that store?
Always. No, it was one of those things that the way he raised me and the way he talked about women to me growing up, which I think did a whole lot of mental damage to me anyway. Yeah. That sort of thing, I did not expect him to be as accepting as he was. I didn't expect him to be able to handle it and all of that.
That's the point being, bottom line, however you look at it, you are still the same person.
Yes.
You did, and you changed your name, but you're still you.
Yeah.
You are still the same person that
I would argue happier.
Much happier.
Prettier.
She looks more like me.
Oh, I almost knocked our heads together. That would have been concussion live on screen. WWE SmackDown. Boom.
But, and I think that's the thing that bothers me the most is I don't know what that's why I'm saying you were just waiting for something to find, to get angry about and say, I mean, how could you take your flesh and blood and know that they're living in their fucking car and say,
not my problem.
You should have liked a boy or you should have liked a girl.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why is that any of your business?
Exactly. I was just going to say it. It's like when everything goes to, it becomes political. Why is what you do in the bedroom political? That's none of your business.
But it's not even just, that's the thing is, it's not even just in the bedroom. It's just who you love.
Yes.
Why is that
your business?
Anyone's business that people have an opinion on it?
Exactly.
Or, that it's still a thing that we have to even discuss and we have to like have these conversations and do all these things. It seems very silly.
And the sad thing is that they would accept someone having indiscretions in their marriage before that they would accept someone who...
Well, these are also, I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the Venn diagram between parents who will cover up for their child molesting brother, who is the child's uncle, but would kick their kid out for being gay. I feel like that Venn diagram is actually a circle. Yep. Maybe that's just me. But I feel like those are the same people who would sweep that shit under the rug, but also say you cannot be gay. And it's a little iffy to me, but people are the way they are.
Yeah.
And that's, it's, I guess the good thing is, we're having these conversations and, people can be open about that struggle that maybe nobody knew about, because I think a lot of people would probably think like, oh, marriage equality is legal, so therefore gay people no longer have problems. Gay people no longer get kicked out of their homes. They no longer deal with all this stuff.
Yes.
And I think that that's just not reality. And so it is good that you still like, people are more vocal about it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can say, like, no, this is still happening.
And did you know this goes in waves? It's like there's, you people get married, and then it slows down in these, like what we're going through right now with the states trying to ban all these,
transgender kids from playing sports.
Exactly.
Yeah. The only other thing that I did want to talk about, or that I did want to ask you, that I can remember, was someone, specifically one of my followers on Tumblr, asked, what was your parenting style like? And then did it change at all having a queer child?
Like we kind of covered it.
Yeah, we kind of did.
Because
and that's why I was like, oh, I don't know.
She's not different in that sense. But like she said, she's happier in the fact that when somebody is their true self, the happiness is just flowing out of you, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
what was that accent?
What did I say? Yeah.
Me? No, that was me. I was like, yeah, oh yeah. I became a Wisconsinite. I don't know. Oh yeah. I don't know what the fuck that was. Excuse me. No, but you're 100% right. When you are able to be your true self, when you're able to be open and, live authentically, as they say. And I know that's kind of a cliche at this point, but it is what it is. It's something that, when you're able to be yourself, and you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to constantly explain yourself, or, at least you have people who support you. It's not always easy, it's not always perfect, but if you have people who are in your corner, like you, it's helpful. It means a lot. And I think maybe even parents who are on the fence, parents who, wouldn't know or whatever, I think you underestimate how important it can be to have someone in your corner. I think a lot of people underestimate how valuable it is and how, important it is to have someone who you just, you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfortunate when parents can't handle that and they don't want to be that.
That's a key word, unfortunate.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you.
Don't ask what you don't want the answer to.
I forgot this question. I was going to ask you, how do you feel when you see messages, or I tell you about messages from TERFs? Or how do you feel that one instance on Instagram where they tagged you in their hatred?
They called me disgusting. You know how I felt.
Oh, God.
If I could have climbed into the computer at that moment, taken that person and just I have to learn. You're trying to teach me. But Mama Bear comes out and is like, you do not talk to my child or about my child. And especially people, you don't know her. You don't know another person that you may be on Twitter or Instagram saying disgusting things. Yeah. Do you know them? Have you met them?
Even if you do, that doesn't really make it okay.
No, okay, yes, no, you're absolutely right.
But also, like, even if
but
you know
I'm
them,
like,
well, then it could be playful, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's like when people hide behind their computers and say all these terrible, disgusting things. That's all it is you're behind a computer saying whatever you want to say. Yeah, but it's truly how you feel. And that's the saddest part. Because you know what? It makes you sad that you have to hide behind it. It's the same when someone's like, God hates gay people. No, Sally B over here hates gay people. Don't put it on God. Put it on yourself. Man up, woman up, human being up, and say the truth. It's you that has the problem.
Yep. And I think that's the perfect way to end. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me anything you want me to ask my mother, and I will either do a follow-up video, or maybe we can do like a I could just answer in the comments, whatever. We'll figure it out. Yeah. And if you want to see more content like this, let me know.